Welcome to New Life Live with host and founder of New Life Ministries, Stephen Arterburn. New Life Live is dedicated to transforming lives one at a time, thanks to the giving hearts of you, our listeners. Our goal is to provide you with wisdom from God's Word to give you hope and help in life's hardest places. If you have a question you'd like to ask today, our phone lines are open. Call 1-800-229-3000. That number again is 1-800-229-3000. Now here's Steve.
Welcome to New Life Live. Hope you're having a great Monday today. We are here at New Life, and joining me today, and you could join them or us, Mylon Yurkovich and Dr. Jill Hubbard. Hi, guys.
Hey.
Hi, Steve.
How are you?
I'm good. February 1. Who would have thought? I'm in Indiana, and big snow this weekend. Got more snow coming. Really enjoying that with the kids. I made the Arterburn snow ice cream recipe last night. Everybody loved that. So we're having a good time. But if you want to join us, it's 1-800-229-3000. Now, this weekend, you could join Mylon and me and his wife, Kay, virtually on a Zoom call. I mean, next weekend. Sorry.
Weekend after next.
Weekend after next, on the 13th of February, you could join us for intimacy in marriage. Now, here's what Mylon and I believe. A lot of people, their solution is the problem. Mm-hmm. This is what my wife has taught me. Maybe, Steve, your solution is the problem. I mean, you keep trying the same solution, and it's never going to work. And people are so convinced, well, just a little more effort or whatever, we're going to figure this thing out. But I think you've kind of figured it out.
Well, listen, people go through repetitive, cyclical ways they do things. And they use the same thing over and over and over again. They may, couch it slightly differently or have a different complexion upon it or try and say it a little bit more earnestly.
Right. I always love it when you don't agree with someone and then they say it louder, right? It's like, no, my hearing is fine.
There you go. Yeah.
Loudness doesn't help here. The other thing that doesn't help, you guys, and you'll both agree with this, is when someone is emotionally struggling and they have strong emotions that are coming up, when you try to talk to their left brain and try to talk logically or rationally or use their left brain to logically talk them through something, that doesn't work. The best thing to do with someone who has a strong emotion is to simply identify with that emotion in the moment and say, that's big, tell me more about it. And that's counterintuitive. Nobody teaches you to do that.
It's very counterintuitive.
Right. Nobody teaches you to do that. I call it emotional kung fu because you move in to whatever is happening.
And when they're in that emotional space, you're right, Mylon, they're not able to process, right, on an adult level, really, right? So by zeroing in on the feelings, you help to bring them back to that place where they can re-engage their left brain.
Yeah, the left brain just doesn't work as well.
No.
I don't know if it's adult or not. It's rendered less operative and less effective. And so when we sit there and try and explain something 12 times to somebody, when they're upset, it doesn't work.
Right.
And I had to learn, Steve. I had to learn this as an adult. I didn't learn it as a child or as an adolescent. It's something I had to learn later in life, which is what everybody can do here.
Yeah.
We're going to teach that.
Well, the extreme of that is, imagine you just missed being hit by a Mack truck and you were almost killed and you're sitting in your car. Now imagine if somebody asked anything of you at that moment. You're not there. And there are a lot of people that's kind of the way they go through life, reacting to everything. This, on the 13th, if you're thinking about getting married, you can be part of this if you're engaged. You won't be able to when we do it face-to-face, but you could. If you want a better marriage, or if you're in a marriage that people, maybe you, think is impossible to save, this is for you. Intimacy in Marriage Intensive. Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We'll go to phone calls right after this.
I feel blessed to have had this opportunity for my needs to be met, connecting with other women who are fighting the same fight hoping for healthy marriages and growing closer to the Lord on their journey.
My name is Shelly Martinkus, and I want to personally invite you to the Restore Workshop. If you have been affected by betrayal, it might be that your husband has been looking at pornography. It might be an emotional, physical affair. I would love for you to come join us.
I feel encouraged and hopeful that even in my struggle, I am enough.
You will leave with hope, with a community of sisters ready to support you, and you will also leave with tools to move you forward on this journey.
Through the sharing in our small group, I realize that I am not alone.
Please don't hesitate. Pick up the phone, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. I would love to see you there.
The Restore Workshop is being held online Saturday, February 27th. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE to find out more. That's 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Steve Arterburn here, 1-800-229-3000. That is the number. And how about we go with Robert from Morrisville, Pennsylvania. Hi, Robert. How are you today? What's going on in your life?
Well, I'm going through some situation in my marriage that led me to call you. But not only that, I've been looking back over my life. I just turned 60 in January 12th.
Okay. Congratulations. You made it.
And thank you. I always knew I had fear. Fear has consumed me, and I belong to a church, and I know the Bible says God is not of fear. But I always had that fear. I don't like the fear of rejection, and it causes me to hold back to reach out to another female or whatever. Me and my wife been together off and on through active addiction, and we've been clean from drugs since 2011. And
so were you saying there that when you're fearing rejection, you get with other women other than your wife? Is that what happened?
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
Okay.
No.
Right.
I'm saying me and my wife separated about 3 times due to our addiction.
Okay.
And then this time around, I always would tell myself if my wife would get clean and I get clean, we would have a good marriage and we would do this and that. So she came back to me back in 2008, 2009. And around 2008, 2010, I want to say we did our vows in front of our church.
Okay, so tell us about today. What is it we could help you with today? I'm glad you guys got back together. But what's the issue today?
Fear and rejection is what allowed me to come back into this relationship. My wife feels that it's okay for her to not work, but be on the phone or Facebooking men and doing things of this nature. And I took her back because I feel that I love her, but with her actions, maybe I'm the one love her because she told me she can't love me the way I love her. And now we're to the point to where we might want to separate or divorce, or we're going to try some counseling, which I'm trying to get set up through my job. I work for the state. But anyway, long story short.
So what's the question for us then? What's the question for us, buddy?
The question for us for you guys is that how do you get past the fear and rejection? Because I was always left alone. I was the youngest child in my family. So that's my problem. I'm dealing with that because I don't know why, if she felt that way, why did she want to remarry?
Yeah.
And then now I have to look at what's my problem.
Yeah.
And I know for a while it's fear and rejection.
Okay. So let's start with you, Jill, and see if we
Robert,
can
what you're saying
get
is
some
fear and
insight.
rejection has been a theme for you throughout your life, and you have these wounds from early childhood. So then, it colors how you respond to things, it sounds like. And I'm wondering if you're saying that, because you're afraid of fear and rejection, you allow things to happen in your marriage just so she won't go away. Yet at the same time, the things she's doing cause you to feel rejected, right? And you both have been clean from drugs, which congratulations, that's wonderful. But, we know that in the process of addiction, our emotional growth becomes stunted. And so when we become clean, we have to deal with a lot of raw emotion. And what is foundational to most relationships is this fear of intimacy. And I hear your wife is dabbling in with other people, which is a false sense of intimacy. So she doesn't sound like she knows how to be intimate with you. So instead of this being a rejection of you, it's more a rejection of her ability to be truly intimate, and that there's work for both of you to do.
Yes.
Mylon, what do you think would be helpful for him to do here?
Well, Robert, people that have fear of rejection can also be very clingy and want a lot of closeness to the people around them, and they don't tolerate separation very well. And so they are very needy, if you will, of another's attention or time or closeness.
And for reassurance.
And then reassurance, lots of reassurance. And so, I don't know what definition you and your wife are using with respect to the word love. And she says, well, I don't have as much love for you, or whatever the term was, as you have for me, and how you measure and quantify that. But you really hit the nail on the head when you said to us a moment ago that you were the youngest in your family of origin and you were left alone a lot. And this is the stage that your fear was built upon. And because you realized that you weren't selected, you were left alone, you were rejected, if you will. When a person is left alone a lot, that means nobody is wanting to be with them. And so as a child, you develop these feelings as though something's wrong with me, or what is wrong that I could fix. And so you lose yourself because everything you're doing is keying off the other person to make sure you don't lose them. And so the real you doesn't come out. What do I need to do? Yes, the Bible says perfect love casts out fear. But the church, across the board, the church doesn't really understand what early traumas do to people and what trauma does to train the brain to have these feelings. And so it's just, well, stop it. Just believe this and have more faith and it'll all go away. And really the answer is to get in some therapy with someone and really talk about those losses and to talk about the nature of your family's rejection of you and to grieve it and to get angry at it.
Okay, so here's what I'm going to do for you. Here's what I want to do for you. You go to her and you tell her, no matter what level of love we have for each other, we're together. And I would hope, you'd say to her, the least you'd be willing to do is spend the 13th, Saturday, February 13th, day before Valentine's Day, with me at a marriage conference. Now, I'm going to take away all of the negatives here, or all of the roadblocks. I will scholarship both of you through, Robert, so you can tell her these people are willing to pay our way so that she has nothing but pure disregard for you, sadly, if she won't do it. So I want you to hold on, and we'll get the information. We're going to try to get you there. But here's the thing. She needed to be committed to you, whether you were afraid or courageous, whether you were clingy or distant. She made a commitment to you. Both of you had addiction. You worked on it. Now she needs to come through and live up to the commitment that she's made. no one deserves to be in any kind of marriage where the other person is connecting with people you don't know, and you know it's not good for them. So I just hope and pray that she would say to you, yep, we're going to go, and that we'll see you there. And anybody else, you can find out about it at newlife.com or 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Okay, so Steve, that was so generous and amazing. I just want to stop and say thank you and say to people, this is the heart of New Life Ministries. And when people give money to this organization, A, it puts us on the radio. It's the money to pay for that. B, it's money to do stuff like this to help people and scholarship them. And then C, it's the money to run the organization. But thank you for him. That was really nice.
Well, I hope that she will respond.
I do too.
I love to take away all of the negatives, all of the roadblocks, and then he will find out what is really there. If she weren't willing to do that, that would be so, so tragic. All right, let's go to Linda from Los Angeles, California. She has called us. Here's the phone number, everybody, 1-800-229-3000. Hi, Linda. How are you today?
Hi, I'm well, hanging in there, thanks. How are you?
Doing okay. Yep. What's going on in your life that we might be able to help you with?
Well, thank you. I'm calling because my next door neighbor, since before COVID started, she seems to have a lot of mental health issues and I'm wondering if there's some possible drug use going on. She has ranted, raved, yelled, screamed, slammed things, pounded on the wall, fixated, and targeted me since she moved in. This has been going on for like a year. I've been reporting it. I know other tenants have reported it. I'm not sure whether she was asked to leave by management or she voluntarily is moving out. She has posted notes on her door, like just false lies about me, and she has been yelling threatening things.
Okay. So what is the question for us? What's the question for us?
How can I navigate this? It's like constant. She's waking me up at all hours. She's threatening me. I have not gone to the police because I don't know if this is her just trying to play mind games with me, or if I file a police report and a restraining order against her, if that is going to just escalate the situation. How do I navigate this? I'm really trying. It's really hard.
Yeah, well, every case is different, and number one, you want to be praying for her, and then number two, maybe there's some way that you and another person might be able to visit with her, not you by yourself, but to find out what's really going on, and then if it's really serious and she's threatening your life or her own, you just may have to get someone else involved here and to get her help, and then that takes care of the problem. But Jill, Minen, what do you think? You have an unruly neighbor. Pretty tough situation.
Yeah, that sounds awful, Linda.
It's constant. I'm not kidding. Around the clock. Like, she woke me up at 4:37 this morning yelling she was going to torture me, that she had planned. I'm trying to pray for her.
Yeah.
I'm trying to not hate her. I'm scared.
Yeah.
I'm scared. She said that I will pay. She said that I will die. She said she controls me, and she's not controlling me. I'm trying to not let it. I'm trying, when I turn my radio on, to try to, just drown her out. She talks even louder. She's yelled, ranted. She goes under the radar when she needs to. And I'm sorry. Thank you. I want to listen to what you have to say.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, you said that other neighbors have also rallied and have been.
People have.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry. They've said I've had multiple people approaching me saying we hear her constantly, and so I've just said, well, please report her to the management.
Yeah.
I don't know how many of them
So
have.
we're very limited in what we can help you with.
Right, Linda. I think this is not a well person. The fact that she's moving out soon, good riddance, right? I think this is one of those people you want to just stay clear of. But I think with her threats, I think you may need to call the police. I think it's at that level, right? There needs to be a paper trail here for somebody who is acting that way. And she may need a mental health intervention.
Well, I was just going to say that,
Yeah.
Jill. You know, if you call LA County or the LA Police Department, they have mental health consultants and teams that actually go out and they'll do a well check or a check on this person.
Right.
And she
these
sounds
are homicidal threats.
They are, but she sounds schizophrenic. She sounds like she's just not a healthy person. And what do you do with this kind of a person? You're gonna need help.
Yeah, I think the authorities will respond if you tell them about this.
For most of my life, I've been dealing with an opiate addiction.
Why is opioid addiction quickly becoming one of our nation's biggest killers? Maybe it's because it isn't only those who are addicted who are in denial.
We did what I see so many parents do, is it can't be an addiction. There's something medically wrong.
It's impossible to solve a problem when you don't know what you're up against, and families will try to find any explanation except the one that will put them on the right path.
Alcoholism and drug addiction is a family disease. It doesn't affect just the individual.
If someone you love is abusing painkillers, know what you're up against. It's time to admit it's addiction and seek treatment. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We have Christ-centered partner treatment centers around the country. Call 1-800-639-5433 or visit us online at newlife.com.
We just made a decision. We will do whatever it takes.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
I was really living a very anxiety-filled life. I did go to Take Your Life Back. That's why I continue to support the ministry with the hope that not only am I helping my own situation, that I'm helping others as well.
You can help New Life Live stay on the air by joining Club New Life today. When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, we'll send you the new member thank you gift of 7 books, including Conquer Worry and Anxiety by Dr. Daniel Amen, Healing is a Choice by Steve Arterburn, and Forgiving What You'll Never Forget and Change Your Thoughts, Change Your Life, both by Dr. Dave Stoop. Plus, there are ongoing benefits like access to the Club New Life video library, quarterly resources, free shipping on purchased resources, and discounts on workshops. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. Support Club New Life, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We are back. We finished there with Linda. I'll send her Take Your Life Back, but let me just suggest that if you resemble the person that Linda is talking about, you need to get help. And it's so obvious sometimes to everybody else that somebody else needs help, but you don't see it in yourself. But man, I would not put up with this for a day without getting the police involved, just the more I think about it. So I hope, Linda, you will contact them. I think they'll respond. 1-800-229-3000. We're in the studio for another hour right after this. And right now I want to go to Jane. She's calling from Baltimore, Maryland, and listens on WAVA. Jane, you are on. How are you doing today?
I'm good, thank you, Steve. How are you doing?
Doing okay. Yep, Mylan and Jill are both being very nice today, and that's always a pleasant thing. So how can we help you?
To get help, and I'm hoping that you all can direct me or point me to the right direction. But I believe I have a lot of abandonment issues, and I get depressed sometimes. My parents divorced when I was about 4 years old. And we have always hoped that they'll come together at some point. It never happened. I got married right after college, and maybe about 6 years into the marriage, my husband got he applied. I'm not sure if you're aware of the DV lottery, but he got a lottery, all came here, and he was like, okay, you stay here for 2 years. I'll go back home and join you later. And it's been maybe 15 years now. And
oh, my goodness.
yeah,
Wow.
still not together. We see each other maybe 2-3 months in a year. And there's been a lot of...
So he brought you to the U.S.? He brought you to the U.S. and then went back home?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And he went back home, yes.
Wow.
That's rough. Very, very tough.
Yeah, it's been a lot of mental, emotional, verbally abusive, and, it's been quite rough. And we have 2 kids. So, because of the kids, at some point it was difficult for me to relocate all of us back home because of, all the documentation stuff. So it was a little easier and cheaper financially for us to be here, and he does go in the coming. But now,
do you still have kids living at home? Do you still have kids at home?
Yeah. They are home now. They both were 2020. One just finished high school. One is a freshman in college, and the other one just went to grad school.
So ask us a question we can help you with, and we feel really, really
I need
badly
help.
for
I don't
what's
know
going on.
where to go for help.
Okay. Well, what have you done in 15 years?
I haven't done anything yet.
Okay.
And I know it's about time to do something.
I think it is. I'm excited that you called us because I think it's time. Now, you live in an area that has a lot of resources.
Mm-hmm.
And I would, let's just list some of the things you could do. You could get some support and insight by going to a group, a self-help group, doesn't cost anything, that focuses on codependency. So that's one thing.
Okay.
You could try to get in touch with maybe a large church or the largest church in the area and see if they have that kind of Christian-based codependency group. The next thing you could do is you could get some pastoral counseling and encouragement. The other thing you could do is get in a women's Bible study where other women love you, care about you, and give you some direction. And then we have therapists all over the country that we could help you get involved with if you wanted to do that. There are a lot of things that you can do. I'm just wondering why you've never done anything until now talking with us.
We got into some pastoral counseling at some point, and based on the advice that the pastor gave me, he was like, just give him some more time. Probably he's going to come around. And I took his advice, and I left him to pretty much do what he wanted to do, hoping that at some point he will come around, but I don't think it's going to happen. And I have a few... Well,
it's 15 years now. It's at some point you would say to yourself, I don't think that pastor gave me very good advice, right? You wouldn't just live that out when there's no evidence that what the pastor thought would happen is actually going to happen.
Well, and Jane, in 15 years, have you ever gone back home to visit?
Yeah, we did. Even we went back sometime in October. Even within COVID, we went home. We've been going from time to time. Yeah, and I have a few women that I pray with sometimes, and I think that sometimes when I share certain things with them, he somehow gets to know about it because there's one of them that knows us both. So I'm feeling a little bit. A little bit
betrayed.
Not comfortable. I mean, I share with them and we pray together. I'm not sharing to complain. I'm sharing that we can pray about it. But I think that
person isn't safe, and I wouldn't be sharing stuff with a person that's not safe. So just because you're in the same group doesn't mean you are obligated to share with an unsafe person. All right. We'll hear from Mylan right after this. You're listening to New Life Live. Really glad that you are. 1-800-229-3000. That is our phone number right here, and we'd love to talk with you and help you. An hour and a half, we're going to be here.
I came into this thinking that my husband was the cause of many of our issues.
The New Life Intimacy and Marriage Workshop will be held online Saturday, February 13th.
But after learning about our attachment styles, I understood how our past hurts were playing into our present problems.
Join Steve Arterburn.
It's been a dream of mine for a long time to help people to grow more intimately together, and we believe that everybody has room to grow in the intimacy level of their life.
And Milan and Kay Yurkovich.
We help couples understand how their attachment style is sabotaging their current relationship. And then we teach them how to create comfort in a relationship.
To register or to find out more, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 or go to newlife.com.
Here at this workshop, we had our first ever conversation without yelling, blaming, and accusing.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addictions, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
You guys are awesome. You're a blessing to America.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in the biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first step toward genuine spiritual and emotional healing, please call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433.
We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Steve Arterburn here. Milan Yurkovich, Dr. Jill Hubbard is with us. And we're talking with Jane. And it's been 15 years of very, very little contact with her husband. Milan, you want to get us started here again with Jane?
Yeah, Jane, I appreciate the 2 points you made earlier, that you indicated that he's gone so much and you feel abandoned. And then you also tied in the fact that your parents divorced when you were 4 years old. And so at some level, you know what it feels like to be alone. And you know what it feels like to have people not pay attention to you. It's a painful but familiar feeling. And because it's familiar, we can put up with things perhaps too long. And so what I'm curious about, Jane, is what do you want to do now? You ask, what can I do about it? But what do you want to do? Do you want to stay like this for another 15 years?
No, not at all.
Okay,
No.
Because your husband really isn't respecting you. He's not showing you that you are important to him by, nor his boys. If he's gone that length of time per year, he's really not being the dad he's supposed to be to your two sons. So I think you're answering the question, I don't want to do this anymore. One of the things I would do, Jane, is I would contact a lawyer and I would ask him, you know, what can I do? Ask he or she, what can you do? One of the things I think you need to do is learn to develop, and you already have developed an independence, but I think you need to do something that gets your husband's attention. And then you have to ask, do I really want him back again if he did come back?
Well, and what does he say? Have you guys even had those types of conversations, Jane? Because you said you let him do what he wants, even though you don't like it.
Right. At this moment, or maybe for a couple of years now, he's been saying that I need to do the relocation. And I don't feel comfortable at the moment leaving the kids by themselves because there weren't other place where they could relocate back home with all of that. they were in college. One was in like 11th grade. That's not the right time to move a child.
Right.
So you're saying that he has asked you to move there. Is that right?
Right. He's asking me to move there. But I also think that the timing, probably after going through abandonment myself, I don't think this is the right time to abandon my children and leave them by themselves here.
Okay.
So I think that at least if we're able to get them to a place where, the older one is quite okay now.
So here's what we're saying. If you want things to be different, you're going to have to do some different things. You're going to have to get his attention. And if what you're saying is true, I would make all of my discussions about how are we going to get together other than me moving there, and ask him what does he really want, and hopefully he would respond in a great way. But if not, I think to get his attention, if that doesn't, you're going to have to finally get an attorney so that he sees you're just not going to sit around and waste all of your life for the rest of your life. That's what I would be thinking. All right? Now, I'm going to send you Mylan's book, How We Love. I think it will give you some insight as to, just exactly how you got into this relationship with him, and maybe, hopefully, how to make it better. And that's available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE for anybody else that needs that kind of help. All right, let's go to, how about we talk with Lisa from Sacramento, California. And she watches us on YouTube. Any of you could do the same thing. We're live right there. Lisa, how are you today?
Hello. I'm not doing so well.
Really? What's going on?
My question, I'll try to make it brief, is what advice do you have for me as a wife to an unfaithful spouse who is addicted to pornography? I suspect also has a sex addiction and is refusing to, one, admit anything or disclose anything, who even denies what has been brought to light and exposed, and is also a narcissist. So I've suffered for 9.5 years of being, gaslit and manipulated, and also I'm not able to financially live on my own. And I have a child that I have 3 children, but the 2 older ones are young adults now, even though they're still dependent upon me. But my main concern is my youngest, who will, then I'll have to share custody of my husband, of my child with my husband, and just the financial part of it.
Okay, we get it.
The worry of my
it's
son.
It's a horrible place to be. What have you done or asked him to do? Have you asked him to do anything other than just stop? Have you asked him to get help from somewhere?
No, I made the mistake early on that I didn't realize it was a huge problem.
Mm-hmm.
I guess you could say I was in denial or very, very much manipulated by him. That, and I didn't. He's very, very, very good at hiding his tracks.
Well,
he's
sure.
very, very secretive.
Mm-hmm.
He's become, an expert in hiding what he does, and so therefore I don't have a lot of evidence, even though I do have enough, I would say. Right. But he's taking advantage that I can't leave. So what have I done? This has been 9.5 years. So from the very beginning, at the beginning of my pregnancy, is when I found out. I was about 5 weeks pregnant when I found out that there were some issues, but I didn't realize to what extent. His mother actually pulled me to the side and said, he's he's addicted to pornography. And I remember thinking, that is just really strange for a mother-in-law to tell your daughter-in-law who's newly pregnant and just a couple of months ago before we got pregnant, you were just so excited that we were getting married and that we were happy and everything else. Like I just didn't understand why she waited until after I was pregnant to tell me this. And then,
so let me turn this over to Jill and Mylon. Let's see if we could figure out something that would be really helpful for you.
Well,
Jill,
Lisa, I'm so sorry. Yeah, it is quite a predicament that you're in. And I think you have to ask yourself some tough questions. I mean, you've already admitted that you've kind of allowed this to go on. And certainly getting that news when you are pregnant, not the best timing, right? When you're feeling vulnerable and you really need to have a partner there with you. I always think it's never too late to admit to someone, I've allowed things to go on as they are. And I take responsibility for that because I didn't let you know how much this really isn't okay for me. And so now I'm going to get some help as to why I allowed this to go on and why I would be with someone who, is looking at other women and not respecting our marriage. And so, you go to codependents of sex addicts and you start getting some support and shoring yourself up, right? So that you can take a stand and so that you're not afraid to leave, because so many women put up with things because they're dependent and they need the person, for financially, right? But you also have to consider, you have an 8-year-old son. This is his dad. Right now, your son is probably more connected to you, but by the time he hits junior high, he's going to strongly be starting to identify with dad. And so I think, intervening now is really important.
Okay.
Yeah, Lisa,
you have a thought here?
Lisa, I'll say this quickly. A dilemma, the definition of a dilemma is having to choose between two choices that are not good. And that's the spot you're in here. I could stay here and continue to suffer. That's not good. Or I can do what Jill just said, and she said it so well, to begin to build yourself and your strength, and then to set upon a course to say to your husband, I just can't do this anymore. That's a hard choice too. But I think the one that's most liberating, and the one that also proves to your entire family, your 2 adult sons, and then your young son, we will not be victimized by other people. And they'll see their mom rising up to be strong. And eventually, by the time they're 18, they need to know the truth. And that is important.
We'll be back after this.
After I found the pornography on the internet, I said, you either get help or I have to leave this household.
Every day, thousands of women discover their husband is struggling with sexual integrity. And since shelter-in-place orders have gone into effect, traffic to porn sites has skyrocketed. New Life's Every Man's Battle workshop can help.
Every Man's Battle, I fought it the whole week with my wife. Within 2 hours, you could have opened a book. It showed me where my life has been ever since I was a little boy.
The Every Man's Battle workshop can be a trip to the sexual addiction emergency room. During this time of social distancing, the Every Man's Battle workshop will be held online Saturday, February 6th. Find sexual integrity, accountability, and connection. Register now to reserve a place at the Every Man's Battle online workshop. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
He said, this may have saved my life.
Every Man's Battle was a life-changing experience for me and a marriage-saving experience for me.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-NEWLIFE.
I was really living a very anxiety-filled life. I turned on New Life, and the topic that day was about anxiety. And just by listening, I got relief.
You can help New Life Live stay on the air by joining Club New Life today. When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, we'll send you the new member thank you gift of 7 books, including Growth Has No Boundaries by Drs. John Townsend and Henry Cloud, Take Your Life Back by Steve Arterburn and Dr. Dave Stoop, and the Emotional Freedom Workbook. Plus, there are ongoing benefits like access to the Club New Life video library, the monthly Club New Life CD or download, quarterly resources, free shipping on purchased resources, and discounts on workshops. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. Support Club New Life, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Steve Arterburn here, and I just want to say that we've had a couple of calls where time keeps marching on. And, you know, you think, oh, one day or tomorrow I'll deal with it, and tomorrow never, ever comes. I'll send her, take your life back. But today, it might be the day that you're listening to this for a reason, because it's been 3 years or 5 years or 7 years, and it's time to do the thing that needs to be done. And I would say this, sometimes, like she was talking about her young child and joint custody and all that. You talk to people that do this all the time. There are ways for that not to be the reason to do nothing. And they can help you with that. They've done it before. But you're going to have to decide, okay, I will not live like this anymore. And it's just, sadly, it's up to you to make the choices so that doesn't happen. Speaking of choices, I chose Larry a long time ago for this organization. What a great choice that was. And how are you, Larry? How's it going?
Steve, doing good, thanks. But here we are in February.
Yeah,
and
already.
February is a short month, and it's always a little bit of a challenge for us because it is so short. But I want to ask people to remember New Life. Please make a gift. Please join Club New Life. And I want to read a short testimony. This is Every Man's Battle week, Saturday, this Saturday. Is that right? Yeah, this Saturday.
This Saturday.
Okay. And here's what one of our recent attendees said. After attending this workshop, I'm hopeful. I sabotaged my marriage of 18 years regularly throughout the only brief periods of sobriety from my 40-year addiction to pornography and sex. I am far more hopeful than I imagined was possible. I've learned more about the nature of my addiction, the extent of my woundedness, and the impact of my sin on my family, friends, loved ones, and community than I believed possible. I'm encouraged to pursue God in true intimacy with my wife and to face the mess and hurt that I caused in my past pursuit of sin. I leave Every Man's Battle being known by a group of men and knowing a group of men who have my permission to speak into my life and hold me accountable for my actions. And I've been given permission and the honor and privilege to speak into theirs. I experience the grace of God at Every Man's Battle. So,
you know, Larry, I wish we could hear, because if he's like almost every other person that went there, if he wrote a letter before that, it would have things like, I hide things from my wife. I don't have any connection with men. And to hear something like this, you would think is just absolutely no less miraculous than a demon being cast out of somebody. It's such a change in direction. And I'm so glad we are the ones that get to do Every Man's Battle the way it's done with Jason Martinkus. And I want to encourage other people, if you need it, come. If you've got a spouse that needs it, send them. And then if you can support us, we need support. We need scholarships. We can't do this on our own, or just the tuition paying for it. Really love that testimony, Larry.
Okay. Well, thanks. You'll get another call, and we'll be back later on.
All right. 1-800-NEW-LIFE. If you can help us, we would love for you to do that. 1-800-NEW-LIFE. I'll go to Ryan. He'll be our final call, but if you're on the line, hold on. And if you want to join us after this, 1-800-229-3000. You'll probably be able to get through. But let's go to Ryan, Seattle, Washington. Hey, Ryan, you listen on Sirius XM. What's going on?
Hey, yeah, I'm just calling for more or less to seek out some information there.
Okay.
Because the situation that I was in, to give you a quick review of it, I dated a lady for like a little over 2 years, but we split up on good terms. And the thing is, she was married for 27 years, and with the PTA mom, stay-at-home mom, and then the marriage ended. He found somebody else and left. All right. Well, she was hung up on that, which I understand that, but my thing that I kept saying was this: honey, you need to listen to God, because she's a very good Christian, and so am I, but you need to take action. God's not going to just drop it in your lap. He's going to talk to you and advise you through his various means, and you have to act. And that's probably what ended us, because she didn't act.
Okay. So what's the question for us today? Because you're not in that relationship.
The question for you today: am I wrong for saying that? I mean, that's the question. What's your opinion? Is what I'm asking you, folks, because I believe as a Christian you have to act on whatever you're prompted to.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, though. The right thing said at the wrong time or in the wrong way is always the wrong thing, even though it's the right thing. So we really can't tell you whether or not, it was all right, because we don't know about the relationship and all that. We do know that people need to take action. They need to do something about it. But we might be challenging them to take a giant step, and they're not a giant. Mylan, your thoughts here? Jill, what do you think here?
Well, I'm a little confused. What step were you asking her to take?
Okay, I'm not rich, but I just retired, and I've done well. Okay, and I wanted her to. It seemed like she was still so trapped in this marriage that she lost. That when we would have our fights, well, this man, for lack of a name, Bob, would always treat me like this. And that's how I want to be treated. And I felt I'd being compared to Bob. And I'm thinking, you've got to move on. That's your past. But I don't think she was ready to move on. Hence, I did.
Okay.
But we're on good terms.
Okay. So that's an excellent summarization statement you just made. She wasn't ready to move on. And Steve's point is well taken. That is, it's the right timing, the right way to say it, et cetera, et cetera. And you're right. Anytime, and this is one of the challenges of dating, later in life, people have histories. And we are really marrying their history. We're dating their history. And actually, that's true with any marriage. We're dating all of their history. But when a person's been married 27 years to Bob, she has that framework. It didn't work out, but that was her only experience, and she's going to use that as comparison, and I'm sorry.
Well, and there is a transition time, right? There is some of the old does come in, but the goal is to then start to see it differently. Not everybody reacts like Bob, right? And so to then adjust how we relate to a person. And she would need to be in her own process of working through that traumatic loss in her life and really grieving that. So she's got to grieve all the, all the bad that happened, but also the good that she leaves from that relationship.
And Jill, Ryan is talking about their fights. So they're having fights. You see Ryan and this woman.
Right.
And, that's frightening to enter into a new relationship. And I don't know the extent of those either.
Right.
Well, here's the thing. You're going to need to move on yourself, because you feeling right about this isn't going to help anything. And I would be working on, here I was dating this person, hoping for a good outcome, but I was fighting with her. What part of those fights might have been me, so that you're looking at areas to grow. And I'm not saying you're the bad guy at all, but just there is something that each of us can do. If you can help us, 1-800-NEW-LIFE. If you need every man's battle, it's this weekend, 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Weekend after that, Mylan and I with Kay, intimacy and marriage. We could help you have a better marriage or prepare for one. And if you want to join us on the next program, 1-800-229-3000.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433, or write to us at New Life Ministries, P.O. Box 1029, Lake Forest, California, 92609. Please join us again tomorrow for New Life Live.
Hi, thank you for watching New Life Live. You know, New Life Live is a Christian counseling program where we deal with the hard questions about life, relationships, kids, free choice, freedom of will, whatever. It's all right there on New Life Live every day, every weekday, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. If you want to call into the live broadcast, you can find the schedule on newlife.com or click the social media link right below. You can see every episode of New Life Live on the New Life YouTube channel. Watch it with a friend, watch it later. Be sure to subscribe and hit that bell so you'll never miss another episode. So if you want to listen on the go, download the app. The link is right below. And I hope if you need some information, if you want to get some help, you'll call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.